Hello everybody, this is Chris and welcome to this Deltic update. Following my video about my derailing Accurascale Deltic, I had quite a lot of comments from people suggesting what might be the issue, and they were very helpful. So thank you for everybody that left a comment. What happened in the end is that I had to send the model back to Accurascale as it was something couldn't quite put my finger on what was causing the issue. So anyway, I sent it back for repair, and to my surprise they sent a completely brand new model. So here it is here, replacement model, just leaving Melchester Station. So let's take it round to the spot on the layout where the derailment was occurring and see if there's any improvement. So here we are then at the notorious corner where the derailments were occurring, and here comes the new model approaching the point at the junction. Let's see what happens. And it's passed over okay, so that seems to be a great improvement. And the reverse direction seems to be okay as well, so it seems this model is a definite improvement on the one I'd received previously. A few more tests at the same location just to make sure. And at a quicker speed this time. So I've tested it quite a few times now at this point, and I'm fairly satisfied that it wasn't the point itself that was causing the derailments. So let's test the model now, hauling a train. Here I've got it coupled up to some Mark 1 coaching stock. So here we are then at the same location, this time with the Deltic hauling a 6-coach train. And it looks like there that the front wheels tried to jump the rails again, but quickly righted themselves and the loco has stayed on the track. So it seems then that when the model is under load, it's wanting to do its old trick of jumping the rails again at this point on the layout. Let's just take a pause here. So we can see here that the leading wheels on the front bogie have definitely left the rails. The remaining 2 wheels, I think, are still on the rails, despite the bogie being at a fairly alarming oblique angle. The model then stays on the track somehow until the next set of points there where it corrects itself. Let's take a close-up slow motion view and see if we can see in a bit more detail what's happening. Now, if you watch the kinematic coupling on the front of the model, you'll notice a very sudden lurch to the left, just before the front wheel derails. There, did you see that? Let's just take a look at that again. So shortly after the coupling lurches to the left, the front wheel does exactly the same thing and drops off the rail, but continues along without fully derailing the train until this point here, where there it clicks back onto the rail and carries on. None of the reviews of the Accurascale Deltic that I'd seen on YouTube mention any issues with derailing, and there are quite a few available to see. So I spent an hour or two trawling through comments on RM Web, and it wasn't long before I realised that there is an issue with this model. I have sidelined my King's Own Yorkshire Light Infantry through derailing when all others stay on. Beautiful model, but mine has made me very frustrated, I must admit. Mine went away for repair as it derailed running light engine, with one of the kinematics sticking after transitioning a curve. Now this one runs fine light engine, but any load on the coupling, even with KDs, seems to have the same effect. Stronger spring on the kinematic maybe? I have no idea. That last comment illustrates what's happening here. Even when I reduced the load of the locomotive down to 3 carriages, the kinematic coupling still sticks and the front wheel attempts to come off the track. Down to just 2 coaches now, and as you can see this time, a bit like when it was running as a light loco, the kinematic coupling doesn't stick and the wheels stay on the rails. I've stayed off this thread as I've been patient, waiting for a moment to be calm enough to start to try and resolve the issues I've been having with my King's Own Yorkshire Light Infantry. Point 2. Consistently derailing. I only use express points and 4th radius set track curves, but do have 90 mph zigzags in a few places. Nothing else derails. If KOYLI gets round once, it might a second time, but the third time it'll always derail. Cannot leave for an hour or two as I like. I seem to have a similar issue with my black watch. Had it a couple of weeks and it's been running fine, but I do have a problem with the coupling when connected to an A/S JSA. I was trying to sort that last night when the black watch started to derail at odd points on my track. The profile on the kinematic coupling is too extreme, and when there is a higher than normal degree of sideway load on the follower, it simply cannot traverse around the point and locks, thus causing derailment. Smoothing the profile cures the problem and makes the arrangement more forgiving of certain layout conditions, e.g. curved points, radius 2 curves, or curves on an incline/decline. I hope Accurascale take this on board for future models, as they seem intent on sticking with the kinematic coupling, but I for one do not want to see this issue on the class 37 or 31s that I have on order. Anyway, I feel I'm inching closer to what the issue has been with this model. It's a shame that when I sent the first version back to Accurascale, they didn't really explain what this issue was, or if they had corrected it, but simply sent a new model which obviously has the same issue. Fortunately, RM Web does have enough experts in model railways to be able to provide some solutions. And as one of the contributors has said, we're here to conquer problems. Please see my posts of several weeks ago regarding modifying the point on the kinematic coupling. No issues at all since doing this on radius 2 curves and inclines. I did see that and quite frankly hoped it was a one-off issue, and waited to see what the rattan nimbus was like, I may well modify the kinetic in the same manner. It'll be a problem for me, but hey-ho, we are here to conquer problems. One RM member posted illustrations of the modifications that are required to the kinematic mechanism, and as you can see, quite a lot of shape reshaping has to take place and filing down of the profile. Not necessarily a task a modeler wants to undertake when having purchased a new model. Is the kinematic component easy enough to remove without completely stripping down to the chassis? I'm just a bit too wobbly at the moment, and I'll probably muck it up too easily. Drop us a line and we can arrange to have the loco taken into our workshop for you, no charge. So it's clear that Accurascale are aware of these issues and are engaging with those members of RM Web that are raising them. This RM Web member found that a solution would be to completely remove the kinematic coupling. I had the occasional front bogie derailment, annoying as it meant repair work as pipes, steps or guard irons would sometimes be found in the ballast, so removed the front kinematic mechanism completely. After all, it was doing nothing, hidden behind pipes, and I've no intention of selling them, so don't care about resale value. They now never derail at all, over 10 hours running at all speeds over some iffy track work. They cling on to the rails gracefully without a hint of trouble. The rear bogies are fine, maybe the weight of the train keeps the coupling mechanism in line. So it seems then that if I want this model to be able to run, I either need to remove the kinematic coupling at the front completely, or make modifications to both of them. This in itself is no easy task, because the body shell is attached to the bogies via the handbrake chains, which themselves have caused quite a few headaches. As this RM Web contributor pointed out, apologies if anyone at Accurascale Towers has had burning ears the past 2 days. A day and a half modelling time has been spent trying to reattach those effing chains. I can certainly sympathise with the frustrations of that modeller. My own experiences with the chains on the previous model were quite a nightmare, and the prospect of having to deliberately remove them again now in order to make modifications to the kinematic coupling mechanism does fill me with dread. So I'm afraid this model will be wending its way back to Accurascale Towers, probably for the last time. The good news is, however, that hopefully future releases of this model will include some modifications which will hopefully solve the derailment issues which I and others have experienced. Many thanks for the feedback, and we can confirm that a slightly modified design based on this feedback has been taken into future locomotives. Cheers, Fran at Accurascale. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, and thank you for watching, and bye for now.